Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Dr. Sharnael. She is a quantum healing and quantum science and energy healing. She's founder of True TV and author of 5 books, including an international best-selling book, The Science of Miracles. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sharna.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll be talking about the science of miracles and healing. In this backdrop, we'll have our conversation. But before that, Dr. Sharnel, let's understand a bit about your journey, your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
Yeah, my background was actually spirituality and just helping people remember how to connect with God, and they're having that empowerment to listen to their intuition and to connect with whatever their purpose and their mission is here on the planet and their destiny. I personally believe that everybody is very diverse and that we all have very different set of skill sets, although some of them do cross over. It's what makes this world go around, all of our uniqueness and our diversity and our love and our compassion for one another is really, really important. So I always spent a lot of time teaching and traveling. I went to over 50 some countries, just bringing the message of love and destiny and purpose, and hoping to encourage people to go that route. And the process of me traveling that while, probably the last 7 years of that 17 years cycle, I was very, very ill, and I couldn't find any kind of resolution on how to get better. And I kind of went to so many doctors and spent so much time trying to figure that out. And in the end, found someone that could help me. And they used more of a natural approach. They also used a lot of like biohacking type things, which are a lot more mainstream now, but back then weren't so much. And I was able to, with his help, reverse what was going on. And that kind of put me on a different path of realizing that although I believe in instantaneous healings, a lot of the people that when I would see that happen, they would just go back to their old habits and kind of lose their healing. And so there's some things that I know, at least my grandparents and my ancestors have done over the years, that are very, very natural, that tend to stick and don't have the side effects. And some of that is lost, at least in the United States. I don't know how it is over there, but I think some of us are getting back to that a little bit, but not the way that we did. I went back to school and ended up getting my doctorate in naturopathic medicine, and really thought, well, now I will be so equipped to help all these people, and went that direction for a while. And now I'm just incorporating spirituality with health and healing, and allowing people to take back their own power, to make their own choices about their own health, to be educated in areas of health that may have been kind of under wraps and not talked about. And that's just sort of where I'm at now, is just trying to inspire people to remember how to be their best and making the right choices so they can be their best.
Absolutely, absolutely, Dr. Shardil. So I want to understand, from traditional medicine to now energy healing, means any particular reason, or you just thought you would be able to help people better through this way?
Well, like I was saying, I had tried the Western model for 7 years. I was on 33 different medications. Um, None of them were helping me. I didn't feel any better. I spent a lot of time, money, and even emotions, because it was mentally draining and emotionally draining of just not feeling better, not being present for my kids, not having energy to do things. Um, I was about 80 pounds overweight at the time as well, and couldn't lose the weight. And when I started working with this doctor, they really honed in on like trauma in the body and some things that were lodged in my body memory wise. We were able to use frequency and clear, and within 16 weeks of working with essential oils and herbs, vitamins, things like that, I was able to get off all the medications. I was able to get my life back, and I actually dropped 80 pounds without even changing my diet. One thing that I found out is when people have trauma, they tend to hold on to weight. But if you get rid of that trauma and you clear the trauma or alchemize it, the body will relax, and you won't have those fight or flight things that keep holding everything. And also, people tend to hold weight when they're in fight or flight because it's like a protection. Um, animals, if you've ever been around animals, if they're, seeing, like, if a cat sees a dog, the cat will get bigger on purpose and try to look all big, and other dogs may be together and their hair will stand up and they'll try to, look bigger. This is our way of like trying to look bigger so no one will hurt us. And so we will hold on to that to keep as a fake protection. Um, so once we lose that and we have that confidence and trust, and we are not having that fear of having to defend ourselves all the time, things just tend to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to understand from you, Dr. Sharnil, how should a general person understand what is it that you are trying to do? What is it that you do so that people can get healed? You talked about trauma, you talked about uh, things that helped you. So what is it that you do? You also talk about the science of miracles, quantum science, and energy healing all at the same time, spirituality also. So help us in a common person's language what you do so that they can get your help in that and understand how many things they can use for their own healing.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of anything natural, of course. Vitamins, health, um, herbs, frequency, essential oils, nature, getting outside. So, what I do is I spend a lot of time training people and just reminding people, drink water, go outside, sleep. I do have biofeedback technology that I can work with people long distance. And so, when I have to get a few things to do the diagnostics, but once I can collect that information and that data, we can hone in on about 30 different reports regarding, the major stressors, sensitivities, if they have parasites or Lyme, if there's anything emotional going on, if there's anything like psychic or spiritual that's happening. We can also look at electronics, because a lot of people are having a lot of side effects just from being on their screens too much, and or the towers and different things that have all popped up in different places in the city. We definitely can look at diet and nutrition. There's several different reports that come with a biofeedback. And once we get the diagnostics, the software will customize frequencies to send back to the person to help them start getting better. But what I like to do is actually do a consultation with the person as well, to go over the reports. Because if there's something that I can say to them, AJ, where I'm like, you know what, this is showing you don't sleep enough, then I could just tell them that and go, try to go to bed early, try to drink more water, try to get outside more, try to, maybe you need a vitamin C, or do a parasite cleanse or a liver cleanse, or, something that's easy for them to do on their own, that will help with the frequencies that we're sending. Um, because what we send will help, but you'll need more. You'll need 2 or 3 or 4 scans to keep that entrainment in the field. But if you start doing homework on your end, then we won't need as many. It won't cost as much. You'll get healthier faster, and you'll be feeling better to be able to do the things that you want to do, including, work, being with your friends, making money, being inspired to write books and to play and to have fun and to live your life the way you should.
Absolutely. So you talk about frequencies you are sending. What does this actually mean?
What is what?
Frequencies, and healing.
What is frequencies?
Frequencies and healing. What? How?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, we are electric. So we're 67 megahertz on a healthy adult day. And if we get lower than 67, then it starts to open us up to having dis-ease in the body. If we are higher, then we can, stay away from all of that. And a lot of times people, let's say you have a family member that's sick. I hear this quite often. We're like, oh, I can't get over there because, I might catch something. It's like, no, it's not about you catching something. It's about you having a frequency that's so low that you allow that to happen. If we are so high in frequency, we should be able to walk around the planet and touch anything and anything touch us and not get sick. But I think with the combination of things going on in the world, the stress of politics and family stuff and, the news channels and, entertainment, scary movies, music, there's a lot of things that are negative that can cause frequencies to go lower. Nutrition, not sleeping, health things that can cause us to go lower. And then there's things that can cause us to go higher too. Like there is really good music. There are really good people. There are good movies that are uplifting and fun and create like a happy joy, part of our frequency. Color therapy, biohacking. There's tons of biohacking out there now that really, really help with the cells on a cellular level to create ATP and to give light to the body to help that frequency come up. And so we detox better, we stay clean, and this machine that God or source or universe, whatever you want to call them, or her, whatever, this can be in shop tape, shape, like just really sharp and be the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely. So how do we deepen our connection with universe, source, God, whatever we may want to call it? Is there a particular method, or anyone can do it in their own way?
I think both. I think there are a lot of methods, and I think that people should do it in their own way. Um, for me, I feel really more in tune, I guess you could say, when I spend a lot of time in nature. I love being by the water. I love being in the forest. I love being outside underneath the stars, um, getting really grounded, taking your shoes off and being in the ground and just listening. But there are tons of modalities. I mean, meditation is really good, fasting, prayer, going off maybe to do a silent retreat or, just be with others to get away from work for a minute and just think about what you're thinking about. Be more aware of the internal dialogue that we have. Be aware of what our feelings are. Be okay with whatever those feelings are, instead of trying to stuff the feelings constantly. If we stuff our feelings, we depress them or oppress them, that will help. That will make the body get under stress. And, I think there's a lot of cultures that really kind of encourage people to stuff those emotions and, hey, you got to be strong and you got to be the man or you got to be the woman and, you can't show your emotions. But those things don't help us in the long run.
Absolutely. So, how does a common person know which side to go? Means you have even common cold also. You want to take some medicine, the traditional medicine, and whereas there are so many other options also available. So, is there a way one can decide, Dr. Sharnael, that okay, this is the time I can go for the natural ones and all, and only after certain period when it's not working, when there is no other recourse, I go to the traditional one.
Yeah, I think it's both. Again, the way I grew up is we always went to the traditional. Like that's just a program that I grew up in. I didn't know anything else until I was much, much older. And I do unfortunately see a lot of people who have exhausted all of the doctors, all of the ways, and I'm a last resort. That sucks. But I think that hopefully, I think people are starting to look at other alternatives, especially in the last 3 or 4 years with the things that have happened on the whole entire planet. I think there's a lot of distrust in pharmaceuticals and pharmaceutical doctors because of what has happened on the planet. There's been quite a big wake up with that, and I think there's a lot more people who are very open and or making it the first time to come to a naturopath, or seeing an energy worker or doing something along the lines of frequency. And then too, I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but in the States, there are all these biohacking conferences that go on constantly. And all of this new technology has been, pretty much talked about on things like Joe Rogan and other podcasts that have been a lot more popular. And so I think people are realizing, hey, I don't have to go this route. I'm going to go this route first. And or maybe they're listening and remembering some of the things their grandparents did and say, my grandmother used to take magnesium. I always thought that was really weird, but maybe I should start taking magnesium.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you want to know how we do things here in India, you should know India is very cultural in that aspect. And early, even today, many people still go the old, grandmother sort of remedies for whatever it is. Only when some of the people nowadays, even for small things, they can go for the traditional medicine, the modern medicines. But for a lot of things, we still prefer to use things from the traditional Indian way, the natural way, and also the Ayurveda and all those things. So less of medicine, but more of those herbs and all those things that are very readily available. You see, it's like for example, turmeric. We use it in quite a lot of things, and there are so many other things which So that is one of the things. So maybe for many people now they are refocusing on these things, and these things are also gaining much more currency nowadays than it was a bit earlier on. But yes, it is very much famous. But I want to understand from your client's point of view, Dr. Sharnael, what is it that they come to you for, and so that I get things, understanding from things on the ground, and how do you help them, especially many people have a lot of questions because everyone has this modern education, and also their mind wants explanation of everything. What are their questions? How do you help them?
Yeah, I mean, biofeedback would be a good start just because then I could get diagnostics. Um, and, so usually when people come to me, they're not feeling well. Things are not doing great. And when we set up the appointment and we get the diagnostics, and then I go over the reports with them, and we get a game plan, we get some sort of strategy and say, like, you know what, let's implement this and this in your life and make that a part of your practice. It blesses my heart to know that you guys are a lot more ahead of us in so many ways, because we just kind of dropped the ball. I think we're in the 30s or the 40s when pharmaceuticals came out, and that's just a whole different thing. But hopefully, we're seeing some changes now that Robert Kennedy has been, moved in, and he's kind of taken the spotlight on the medical dynamic. Here in the States, us and New Zealand are the only countries in the whole world that even allow pharmaceutical commercials. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Yeah. So for years and years and years, people can just be watching whatever they want on TV, and then a commercial comes on and tells them that they have some sickness and they need some drug and they need this drug and this, but then it says all the side effects at the end, and those side effects are deadly. They're scary. And if you do something more traditional, like your culture does, usually it's more preventative too. It's not something that you wait until you're sick. Like you guys are very healthy as a country anyway. I mean, you guys eat really well. You don't have all the stuff in your food. You don't have all the stuff in your water. You guys are doing it right from the front end so you don't get sick. Whereas a lot of people in America don't eat the best, don't do any of the stuff, totally stressed out. And then they wait until they're sick to go see a doctor. It's like, well, let's just be preventative. Let's just live a life every day of making ourselves be calm and living a stress free life as much as possible, because stress is really bad for the body. Making sure we're doing some daily habits like meditations, or maybe using essential oils, or getting outside, or getting fresh air. Like most people, a lot of people, especially after this last, I don't want to say the word because I know they took my channel down over some words, but a lot of people just stay in their houses all the time. Like they never get out, they never go anywhere. They're always on their screens. They have no life with other people, with other things. They order in constantly or go get drive-through food, which is not the best choices. And hopefully, with this new administration, we're seeing some changes, because diabetes and all of these things, I mean, this has just been rampant. And I know Robert Kennedy is a big proponent in saving people and helping people to make better choices. And, even our food is way different than even Canada. Like the same cereal box can contain ingredients that are completely like criminal. Honestly, in other countries they're outlawed, but here they're allowing it, and we're putting a stop to that. We're really looking at our ingredients. We're checking things out. We're doing inventory as a country and deciding, we don't want red dyes anymore. We don't want chemtrails anymore. We don't want all these things that have been like bombarding our children and bombarding us. We're organic. We need organic things. We need natural things. We're meant to be natural.
Absolutely, absolutely. And talking of those advertisement of pharmaceuticals, means I was very surprised when I learned about it the first time, that you can, because in India we can, you cannot. I guess, as you said, there are only two countries, and most of these countries do not allow. We have this over the counter drugs, a couple of them, maybe some vitamins and all, they do but I rarely see, very few people nowadays. I don't watch TV that much, but yes, in a technical sense, that is not there. And a lot of things, if you understand about, not that we do not have problems, we have our own problems, even health issues are there, the diabetes is also growing up. But the cultural aspect, if you see, like nowadays people are talking about grounding, but in India the culture has been that, to move around in your house bare feet. Not that you do not have shoes, but shoes will be outside your entrance, so that when you go outside you have it. There was a reason for that, and but then even weather issues are there in the west. It's much more colder here, we can continue to do. But yes, wherever people get, now people know that one has to do this grounding part consciously, so that you are more connected with mother earth. And in that sense, yes, a lot of Indians nowadays, some only very less people will allow that. I guess in other countries, some of the other countries also, it is like that. I don't know of which country, maybe Japan, it's like that. But everybody, it's not about you, it's not about me. See, modern medicines has got so many benefits in terms of emergency care, in terms of things that 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 alternative medicine, or other sort of medicines, the earlier medicine, they will not help in terms of emergency medicine. Those that's a blessing. And I guess everybody, there is so much to learn from you about these things. Let's learn from your books. You have written 5 books. You have got the Science of Miracles, Remembering the Frequency of Love, and so many other books. Tell us a bit about this particular book, Science of Miracles, because we are talking about the Science of Miracles and
Yeah.
other books. What
I,
can people learn from these books?
yeah. So literally, this book came out of an encounter that I had, and in this encounter, basically, there were books, and they were just records of people who were healed of different things naturally, how they were healed and what date they were healed, and it was just over and over and over. Um, After this encounter, I was given an invitation to be a part of this movement to see people get well in these ways. And when it was over, I was pretty shaky, but I was encouraged and inspired and felt confident to move forward into going back to school and getting my doctorate. I was also giving all these formulas and colors and mechanics of how the biofield works. We all have this biofield. There's a picture here of, you know, basically electronically we radiate this field, this aura, this electronic belt, whatever, as you know. And there's a lot of things, a lot of information that is contained in the field. A lot of it has to do with what we're thinking about, what we're talking about, what we're feeling. And then also there's a radiation of every cell in our body, all of our organs, our ancestral patterns, genetics, so it's really, really important again for us to be mindful and to be present and to take inventory of what we're thinking about, what we're feeling, and especially and even what we're talking about, because people can get on this negative thing and talk to other people and be negative, and it can grow and grow. And that's why like social media and the news and things like that can be so dangerous, because it's a way to really start an electronic fire of a way to shift the whole planet. And they have these machines that they put in different places of the world that would measure the frequency on the planet. And they noticed with OJ Simpson, I mean, of all things, when they put him when he was running away that day or driving, all of these machines were going off the charts, because it was the first time that someone had put something like that on the news, and so many people were watching all at once, and they were all putting all of their energy towards this one event, and it caused literally the frequency of the planet to shift. And I mean, it went back down, but that was something to understand and to notice, that our feelings and our focus about a feeling would change things. And the same thing happened for 9/11. The same thing happened when Princess Diana got married, and when she passed away and had her funeral. There's different things that we can measure and know that literally, as a planet, as a collective, our feelings change the planet. And so I feel like they're using social media and sports and entertainment and the news and all of these things to kind of direct the planet in a way, in not a great way either, in a pretty nefarious way. So things like what you're doing with this channel, this is the opposite of that. You're bringing light, you're bringing education, you're bringing encouragement and inspiration, you're bringing solutions to the table for people who may be discouraged or sad or not knowing what to do. You're bringing all these beautiful experts in to come and bring peace and to bring love, to go against that frequency that has been pumped out into the air. And there's a lot more people like you, and a lot more of us that are coming together to bring light to the planet. And I really, really appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, see, people like you, people like me, perhaps thousands of people, do you think this is the hope for the planet? That feelings, good feelings can overcome not so good feelings, and it will be a happy future in the future.
Yeah, I mean, love is everything, and unity is everything. There's so much strength in numbers, and they've done a lot of science about this, where there was just two or three people gathered together, how it can shift things, for healings, for miracles, for, again, the whole planet can literally shift. So I think that we're getting to a tipping point, because there's been a lot of transparency. There's been a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of things that are shifting. for us as a nation and also as a planet. I think we're seeing some ripple effects to some other countries that are waking up and saying, you know what, we want to do that too. We don't want to have this garbage in our food. We don't want to have these forced things that people are having to get. Like we want to be more natural, and people are getting a little more courage to stand up for themselves because they're seeing, well, they did it. We want to do it too. And so hopefully there'll be a ripple effect, and there'll be a time of utopia and love, and we can actually be together in love as one.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is so much to learn about all these things from you, Dr. Sharnail, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to learn more from you, about the things that you do, want to be a client. What's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again for having me. I really appreciate you, and I love, all of this and how you presented everything, and just your hard work. And I don't know if everybody knows how hard it is to get all these things together. There's so many, you know, plates to spin to get new people on and set up appointments and remind them, and then they forget, and then you got to chase them down, and uploading and all the technology. I mean, there's so much to doing what you're doing, so I really appreciate what you're doing. But for anyone who wants to work with me or find my books, you can go to drsharnael.com. I have some great resources there. Matter of fact, if you go there right now, you can get a free download of a class that I just did on releasing trauma, for those of you who may have an opportunity to get rid of trauma. But my books are there. My podcast is there as well. I'm on all the social medias. I try really hard to get new information out as I learn. I'm a constant student. I love following all the matters and all the ancient things, and as I learn, I love to teach. Doctor actually just means teacher. And I think that that's something that's also lost within the whole medical system, is there's not a lot of teaching going on. And, I have learned from really, really great teachers, both spiritually and physically. And I've been very, very blessed to be a part and participate in that. And so I love to teach as well, and to see as many people get back their authorship and take back their power, and to make some better choices for themselves, for them and their family.
Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you. Bless you.